In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Workflow AI Assistant inside of GoHighLevel to build and debug automations way faster, especially when things aren't firing the way you expect. If you've ever stared at a workflow wondering why nothing is triggering or spent 30 minutes adding conditions just to realize one step was wrong, this feature is going to save you a lot of time. Instead of building workflows piece by piece and guessing where things broke, GoHighLevel's AI Assistant lets you describe what you want and then turns that into a working automation you can review and adjust. I'm Erin from GoHighLevel Mastery. Let's walk through it. But before we dive in, make sure to click the link below and get a 30-day free trial of GoHighLevel. So once you're in the dashboard, I'm going to click on automation, and this is the workflows section inside of GoHighLevel. This is where all of your automations live, your published workflows, your drafts, and anything that is still being tested. You'll see columns for status, total enrolled, active enrolled, and last updated. So this screen alone tells you a lot. If a workflow is published but has 0 active enrollments, that's usually your first clue that something isn't triggering correctly. At the top right, you'll notice 2 important buttons. So you can either create a workflow, and you have other options here. You can start from scratch, select from a template, import from a campaign or company-based workflow, and then there's also build using AI, which is in both options. So this is where the AI assistant comes in. So instead of creating and starting from a blank canvas, we're going to let the system generate the workflow logic for us. So when you click on this build using AI, this modal pops up asking one simple question: what do you want to automate? This is not where you type vague ideas like follow up with leads. This works best when you describe timing, channels, and outcomes, basically how you'd explain it to a teammate. The AI isn't guessing randomly, it's translating your specific instructions into workflow steps, triggers, waits, and conditions. So the more clearly you describe the process, the better the workflow it builds. So this is where a lot of people misunderstand the AI assistant. This is not meant to replace strategy. It's meant to reduce that friction and mistakes. So you still need to know what you want to happen, but you don't need to manually add every single wait step, message, and condition anymore. So the AI essentially handles the structure, and then you can go ahead and review the logic. You can also go back and edit and always add if you feel like some steps are missing. So this is especially useful for multi-step follow-ups, time-based sequences. Maybe you have pipelines with fallback logic, or fixing workflows that stopped firing. We can see later on when you're in the workflow, you can also ask AI to fix mistakes. So instead of rebuilding from scratch, you can generate a clean version, compare it to what you had, and then you can immediately see what's missing. So here is an example prompt that I'm going to type into the AI assistant. So I'm going to say, after a proposal is sent, wait 24 hours. So I'm being as specific as possible. Then send an SMS follow-up. If there is no reply, wait 2 more days. So I specify how many days I want them to wait, but you can always go back and change the days later. But I'll say 2 for now and send a follow-up email. And then I'm gonna also do an action if there's no response. So I'm gonna say, if there is still no response, create a call task for the sales rep after 3 days. If the contact does not respond within, let's do 7 days total, we can move the opportunity to a cold lead stage. So I can even ask it where to move the opportunity later on. So awesome, I am going to now submit this. So when you submit this, GoHighLevel will automatically create the trigger, add wait steps, insert conditional logic, add task creation, and also handle pipeline movement where you ask them to move it later on if they don't respond. So this way you're not stuck guessing which trigger to use or how long each delay should be. Okay, so now let's actually look at what the AI built, because this is where the real value shows up. So at the top of the workflow, you'll see see the trigger. In this case, it's opportunity status change, specifically when a proposal is sent. This is important because the workflow isn't firing off traffic or form fills, it's firing off a sales event. That's already a good sign that the logic is solid. Right under that trigger is the first step, which is a 24-hour wait after the proposal is sent. So this prevents the follow-up from feeling immediate or automated, so it gives the contact time to actually read the proposal before anything else happens. And after that wait, the workflow sends an SMS follow-up. This is usually the highest response channel early on, which is why the AI puts it first. So it's nothing fancy, just a nudge to bring the proposal back to the top of their inbox. So here it says hello, then their first name, just following up on the proposal we sent 24 hours ago. Please let us know if you have any questions or need further information. You can also delete the we sent 24 hours ago if you don't want it to be too pushy. You can also, what I love is you can use AI again, and we can click write AI. We could paste our initial message that they put in the workflow for us, and maybe we want it to be a little bit less formal, we want it to be casual, and then we can generate the SMS again, and then it will essentially rewrite it. So it'll say, hi, just following up on the proposal, blank, and then you can go ahead and use it, and you can make some modifications, and then they will regenerate that for you. Next, you'll see a wait for reply or timeout step set to 2 days after the SMS, and this is a key moment in the workflow because the system is now listening. So if the contact replies, the workflow stops on that branch, and if they don't, it continues. And another thing, you can always adjust the hours. If you don't want it to be 2 days, you can also do 24 hours, but just letting you know, you always have the option to edit. So on the contact reply path, the workflow ends, and that's intentional because once someone responds, you don't want to keep sending them automated follow-ups. And on the timeout path, the workflow sends up a follow-up email. This gives you a channel variety. If they missed the text or didn't feel like replying there, email gives them another chance to engage without being pushy. And you can also write with AI again, select your tone. You can even here create email. You could do a quick compose. We could do a smart builder, and you can also select an existing template, but you have many options here. After the email goes out, the workflow waits again, this time 3 days, using the same reply or timeout logic. And so if the contact replies at this stage, the workflow ends again. So there's no over automation, no stacking messages, just clean exits. And if there's still no response, the workflow moves into escalation mode. So first, it creates a call task and notifies the sales rep. This is where automation hands off to a human. The system is basically saying, hey, we tried, now this needs a real conversation. So after the call task is created, there's a wait, giving the rep time to actually attempt the call. And finally, if there's no engagement, the workflow moves the opportunity to the cold lead stage, which we specified earlier on when we were making the workflow. So this last step is huge because it keeps your pipeline clean, your reporting accurate, and your team focused on details that are actually moving. What I want you to notice here is that nothing in this workflow is random. Every single step has a clear trigger, a clear wait period, a clear exit condition, and that's what most broken workflows are missing. People usually stack messages without those waits, they forget to stop automation once someone replies, or move opportunities without confirming intent. So the AI avoids a lot of those mistakes by default. You still review everything, but instead of debugging logic from scratch, you're essentially refining something that already makes sense. How to use this for debugging. If you already had a follow-up workflow that wasn't working, this is how I'd use the AI. I would build a new workflow with AI. I describe it in plain English, again, step by step, as detailed as possible. Then I would let the AI build it and then compare it side by side with the existing workflow that I had. So 9 times out of 10, the issue jumps out immediately. A trigger was probably wrong, a wait was probably missing, a reply condition wasn't handled, or the opportunity never moved stages like we asked it to. So this gives you a clean reference instead of guessing. So this is why the Workflow AI Assistant isn't just a build faster tool, it's a debugging tool. It helps you see your automation logic clearly, step by step, the way the system actually processes it. And once you start thinking in triggers, waits, and exits, you'll realize that workflows aren't so complicated. Instead of guessing why a workflow isn't firing or rebuilding everything from scratch, you can describe the process you want, let the AI generate the structure, and then review the logic step by step. Triggers, waits, replies, fallbacks, all laid out in a way way that actually makes sense. The real win here isn't that the AI builds workflows for you, it's that it helps you see where things break, why they break, and how the system is thinking. If you're managing follow-ups, pipelines, or multi-step automations, this saves a ton of time and prevents a lot of silent errors. If you want to try this yourself, you can sign up for GoHighLevel using our link down below. Again, it's a 30-day free trial that supports the channel and gives you full access to features like this. I'm Erin from GoHighLevel Mastery. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.